in USA, when that product they're going to start manufacturing in USA? In about 2 years, right? This is one question. Second question is, like USAU had 9/11. Here we had about 2 years ago 26/11. What USA and India are going to do with these kinds of things happening anywhere else in the world?
Well, there are diverse questions there. First of all, the nano again in the U.S. I don't know. Actually in the U.S., like India, different states have different laws. So, for example, if an American company, let alone a foreign company, manufactures a car in the United States, they have to abide by California laws, which are different than New York laws when you register. So that's a big challenge, and that always affects price. And in the same way, a nano, for example, will have to abide by Indian law. If you manufacture that car in the United States, there may be a law, for example, for side impact, which I think is the issue for the nano. The U.S. has a law that you have to have a certain amount of reinforced steel in most of the states, and that will affect the value and cost. But actually, U.S. is chock-a-block full of everybody's cars. You can get Toyotas, you can get Chevys, you can get Hyundai, you name it. It's manufactured there or imported there. And our tariffs are actually the lowest in the world everywhere, on almost every single thing. Not everything, I will concede. You can find issues, without a doubt. But overall, that's to our benefit, frankly. So our consumers are doing much better. On terrorism, we are combining more and more together. I think the world's a complicated place, and we've got to look for ways to solve these problems at the root level. And I think that's where U.S. and India are talking. So, for example, if we're worried about terrorism from Afghanistan and a tribal belt or something, maybe we should be doing education. Maybe we should be raising the level of standard of living of those people and not necessarily just fighting them. And maybe that's the solution instead of just fighting. But the U.S. and India are doing more military cooperation than ever. I have personally stood on the deck of an Indian warship, which had just a few weeks earlier captured a bunch of Somali pirates. And so India's role in the world and policing the Indian Ocean is bigger and bigger. We want that, and we want to see India out there. We need them. So we need another responsible government out there trying to help us solve some of these problems.
Yeah, as far as the outsourcing issue is concerned, we were a little disappointed to see our president saying that he wants more jobs created in Buffalo than in Bangalore. Also, I feel that outsourcing would be good in the long run for both India and the United States because it makes businesses more efficient. It makes goods and services available at a much better price. It makes them more competitive. Instead, I feel that these world markets have been flooded by Chinese goods. Like in the US, if you go, in India also to an extent, like I guess that has made some of your industries shut. Your economy has been affected. You've lost jobs. What is your take on that? Because I feel that outsourcing will make, in the long run, it will help United States as much as what would help India today.
Well, I won't dispute that. I think that the whole outsourcing issue is a false issue. First of all, it's not on the news at all in the United States. It's only on the news in India. You can find a few stories here and there, perhaps if you look on the internet. But actually, it's mostly not a matter of discussion in the United States because nobody sees that as a significant issue. Part of the reason for that is the size of the U.S. economy. While the U.S. economy has certainly shifted, we've lost some jobs, we've lost some employment. That's our big issue. The size of the U.S. economy is $14 trillion, and it's massive. And just by comparison, the Indian economy is $1 trillion, or maybe 1.2 or so. So it's a massive economy, and so there's so much happening in that economy. If we have a 3% growth, that's equal to the complete full economy in many other countries. And so there's all kinds of change going on in the United States all the time. And this is why we have unemployment. If you're building the wrong car, what happens often in the United States, not always, if you're doing the wrong thing, you get knocked out of business. And that unemploys people. And if there's an efficient way to do it elsewhere, that's okay, actually. It happens all the time. So the president has made some statements, but then people take them out of context or they blow them up for whatever political purpose. But that's not an issue that is of significant concern to most of our policymakers. Like any good politicians in the United States, in India, you name it, they want to produce good employment. That's true. And you'll see that happening. There'll be a tremendous effort underway to expand our industrial base, to expand that sort of thing. And that's happening. So I think what it will do is it'll take time as you retool. I personally, if I had a couple billion, I'd be investing in electric cars. I think it's very clearly coming in. You look at the U.S. car market right now; they're all heading down that trail. It's going to take some years, 5 years. Anyways, I don't know if that answered your question or not.
So I was just referring back on President Obama when he went back to America. And now, 1.5 months, he mentioned about the Security Council that America is going to back India to be the member of the Security Council. Now, there are a few things disturbing coming to news wise, maybe media, maybe paper, whatever it is. Tomorrow, if there is a decision to be made out of 5 countries, will America stand? Yeah, we are for India to be the council member. Will it stand? Good.
Well, you know.
We can back it up. What Obama said, we are only repeating that. Keep continuing on the same. Will it or will it not?
Well, no. The U.S. made it very clear that we support India to be on the Security Council as a permanent member. There's no doubt about that. I mean, that's very clear. The issue, and of course they'll vote for that. That's very clear. I think a lot of people would. It's actually more complicated than that. I think you shouldn't worry about the United States, and probably shouldn't have worried about the United States previously. I think you should ask yourself who won't vote for India. It's not the United States. The U.S. will. Who won't? And see, this is the challenge that we face, because we see India as our ally. We want India in this position. So I could reel off the countries that India faces as the challenge, but it's not the United States. It's actually not the West. Most of the Western countries. If the French Consul General was standing next to me, he'd probably point out to you almost exactly the same thing. He'd probably say, and it's not the French either. You should be looking elsewhere. Yeah.
Just something away from on your front for us, that if we are applying for the USA visas, what will be the best tips so that we can avoid rejection?
Be honest is the most important thing you can do. Be honest. Don't believe a lot of the hucksters that try to tell you that you need to do this or that. Just go to the website and be real, and that will help you. Okay. Now we have in our audience I haven't done visas in 20 some odd years, and I have gray hair, so I rely. And the rules have changed so much that I know amazingly little from what I used to. But I'm going to ask Anna to take. Anna, do you want to say anything else on that?
Sure, and I would just add that we have a lot of great outreach programs through our Consulate division. So please feel free to come to any of our question and answer sessions. We always try to go out to universities and schools, and so we are preparing young Indians who are wanting to go over for study purposes. So they're answering their questions and feeling very comfortable and confident when they go in for their interviews. Because I know there's a lot of misinformation out there. So, but I would echo.
Well, we used to have a video, a slide presentation. Do we still have that?
We do. We have a slide presentation on all of these.
Let me take how many people would like to have Anna make that presentation? I think if you would like a presentation on that, I'm sure we could be arranged for this group.
Well, nothing to do with today's subject. When was the last time you played Mridangam and spoke Tamil?
A long time ago. You know what I do? What is the best music store to get stuff like that?
Rhythm House.
Rhythm House. Because I went to one place and they had these very fancy looking Mridangams, and they've got these pressure clamps on them and all this stuff, and I need to find something a little more traditional.
You want the instrument?
Anyways, a long time ago, I can assure you, I doubt I can even sit properly with the Mridangam anymore. Thank you very much. It was a great honor to meet you.